Are you 50 plus and looking for a job? Well, apparently it's never too late to start a new career. Tom Felling is my guest tonight. He is a Felling Executive Search. He joins us to walk us through the new rules of job hunting past the age of 50. Thank you for joining me so much. I really appreciate this.
It's a pleasure to be here.
And this is a fascinating topic. I have had so many people weigh in on this topic over the last 2 months on Facebook because I know a lot of people past the age of 50, and a lot of them are looking for jobs, and they are so frustrated. What can you tell them? Give them some hope.
Oh, wow. You know, for 31 years I've been in headhunting, and oh gosh, over 50 has been marginalized over the years. You know, it's kind of been a young person's game, or at least the thought they're in. However, the over 50, and I have championed these over 50 all the years that I've been in the search business. There are jobs out there. They provide a lot of wisdom, experience, mentoring, tutorial, and so the value that they bring to the companies is substantial. The key is for the employers to understand that, and it's one of the things that I'm working on right now is educating the employers as to this vast array of really talented people. But to those people that are over 50, there's hope. There's lots of room to move, and it's just a matter of focusing yourself and going after the job you want.
These are the headlines that I saw from February. I guess it's the unemployment rate for those 55 and over was 3.2% according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now that's lower than the current unemployment rate nationally for the entire U.S. population. That's 4.1%.
Yeah.
And then both of these articles came back. The two things that are driving these numbers are boomers are facing retirement and they want to work. They want to continue to work. Or they need to work because they haven't set enough aside for their retirement years. And I know many people, they've talked to me about that. Another one is that and I was interested in this. More companies are hiring experienced senior workers in a tight labor market. And you say you're seeing that too.
Oh, without a doubt. There is a very much a shortage of talented workers, and I'm seeing my ability as a headhunter to introduce those people of, let's say, 50 to 65 years of age into the equation where they are not finding the kind of candidate they're looking for. So it's working for me, although I also do champion that age bracket. But with the labor shortage that we have right now, it segues perfectly into gleaning out of that age group really good candidates.
And you referenced the labor shortage. So this came out 2 days ago from state of Minnesota. They say they're at a 17-year low as far as job postings, but they said the state is not creating many new jobs. So the Department of Employment and Economic Development said that it works out to an average of just 475 new jobs per month. That's not a lot of jobs.
No, it seems low to me. I'm surprised by that number.
Yeah.
In my search business, I'm seeing more jobs, more interest than what that would give you reason to think of.
But they also said that he says we've been averaging that half of that over the year's numbers, but on the backside of it, instead of adding 2,900 jobs as originally reported in March, they revised these numbers quite a bit, and he said that there's only 400 new jobs for March. But then it goes on to say revisions are good news, you know, that maybe there's some better numbers that come out after because employers aren't reporting all of their numbers at that time.
That could be.
And so they're still kind of crossing their fingers, sort of, it sounds like from Deed, that the job numbers will be different, revised from April. So, you know, we can only hope that that's going to be the case. Because of your experience as being an executive in the executive search components, many people have left questions. So this one comes from Carol, and she's interesting. She's worked with a LinkedIn person. She's worked with a job coach. But she said, should someone eliminate work dates before the year 2000 when filling out online applications?
Well, that's a great question. What it really plays into is this infamous algorithm code that I kind of refer to, and that algorithm code is the company's ability through that algorithm, to screen out a whole variety of things that they're not looking for in the resume. And in my search business, I like seeing everything on a resume. So when a candidate comes to me, like her, for example, I want to see everything she's done before 2000. This just gives me a better composite view of her. If she is intent on looking at some specific companies, she might work with what I term as the search engine optimization people. They're folks who can write a resume and use the correct verbiage to get through that algorithm to actually be presented, because a company could weed out thousands and thousands of applicants through that algorithm, and they do. I mean, it's very successful. Working with her LinkedIn person and also the coach is very, very important. But everybody's got a phone. You can pick up a phone, or and do some snooping and find out who that person is at the company that you want, whose algorithm has hindered you to date, and maybe make a call through that, or maybe somebody that is in the company can get to the right person to hand deliver a note or a resume on your behalf. So there's ways around this, but I kind of like seeing. I mean, as a headhunter, I really, really like seeing everything. What makes this woman marketable? What has she done? And the stuff that happened before 2000, as far as I'm concerned, tells me a lot about her, about her makeup, and that's value. And
okay, so kind of along the same lines then. Another question came in. Should I take some time off when I'm in transition, or will this hurt my chances of getting back into the workforce?
Well, over the years in the headhunting, the in-transition folks, I'm pretty much the first person they call, and they ask, they want to know what should I do going forward, and you really kind of want to get back on that horse and go back into the job market and find that job, because it may take you a bit longer than you think to find that next job. However, taking some time off, I think, is hugely valuable. I mean, you reconnect with your family, you can maybe take a road trip, play some golf, read a book or two, just kind of get repositioned. But then I think it's really important, it's imperative to figure out in the features of who you are, what you really want to do going forward. Maybe you don't want to do what you've been doing for so long. You're burnt out on it, you just don't like it anymore. Maybe there's something that you've always kind of wanted to do. Well, I would put that together and center yourself. And once centered, then you can, like with a rifle and a scope, you can target that specific job or jobs in that, ancillarily kind of in that area that you can go after.
Well, that leads right into the next question, which is, I've often thought, striking out on my own has becoming an entrepreneur. I've been thinking about, has this opportunity passed me by? So maybe those people need to rethink what makes them happy.
Sure. Oh, you bet. I mean, I encourage the 50 to 65-year-old group to become that entrepreneur they've wanted to be. In the venture capital arena, investment banking, private equity, these guys invest in people. They invest in as sure a thing as they can invest in, because they don't want to lose their money in that investment. And if they're looking at Mr. or Ms. Smith, and this person brings this much to the table and really writes a business plan that really rocks, they're going to invest in that, hands down, over another thing that comes from somebody who doesn't have that kind of experience. So I think, in spite of or what the right wording, but I think that the people in that baby boom group, I'm encouraging, and I think they would be very successful in entrepreneurship and starting another company.
Well, we know from the SCORE people here in the state of Minnesota that behind the millennials, that those in that 50-plus category are the highest entrepreneurs starting a new business. and they vary by just a couple of percentage points. So
Cool.
now they're taking their years of experience and maybe funneling into a passion, if not the same business, something they've always wanted to do. So they bring years of experience in something, but they're
Well, they're going to
perhaps
invest in a financial person going to invest in somebody with a passion. And if you've got experience in that passion, I mean, that's perfect.
Okay, so moving on. So here's another question. I find myself thinking I only identify myself with one industry. I may be pigeonholed or limiting myself after all the years I've been working in this particular industry. So how do I break out of that mold?
That's a good question. In some cases, being pigeonholed in that industry, if that industry isn't going anywhere now or has gone offshore or any variety of things, and you will need to reinvent yourself. I'm a big proponent of all the area vocational institutes around the state. It's never too late to learn, and I think it enhances you in the perception of the interviewer from the company that you are a continual learner, a lifelong learner. Right now in the state, I think companies could hire every welder that that come out of welding school,
Right.
and maybe you have a hands-on knack and maybe would like to be a welder. I know Dunwoody and I know Dunwoody in particular. I think just every welder they get, they
can place immediately?
They can place immediately. So there's that. Going back to the University of Minnesota, getting a master's degree. I think you can break out of that pigeonhole. You have to find out what that thing is that really gets your synapses firing and go after it. There's a ton of resources out in the marketplace, from coaches to
So getting new
schools.
skills, they
Yeah,
can go
do
find
it.
that?
You bet.
Okay.
You bet.
So now you're on a new venture, and it's called Gray Matter Connection. So tell me about that.
Oh, this is a passion of mine and a work of love, I guess. And it started about maybe 12 years ago, actually from the in transition crowd. I would get calls at the office, and Jack or Mary or Helen would say that they just got a pink slip and company moved offshore or any variety of reasons, but they found themselves now for the first time in a long time without gainful employment. And gainful employment is, it's the first question people ask you: what do you do for a living? And it personifies yourself, and my heart would go out to these guys, and I'd go, well, I'm not exactly sure how I can help you. I don't have a search right now that fits you to a T, but they'd say, well, let's have breakfast, let's have lunch, get to know me better,
Right.
Redo my resume, tell me what the industry looks like. And so I thought somewhere in there is the kernel of a new creation. So the idea of gray matter came to me because they have gray hair, and they also have gray matter in their brains, and there's an enormous amount of experience, and I just didn't really want that to be relegated to the sidelines in our economy, because they just bring so much to the table. And so I thought, for about the last 3 or 4 years, how could I do that? So about a year ago, I partnered up with another fellow who's in the software arena, and we made this basically a platform, like a LinkedIn, a mini LinkedIn as such. And it's what the idea is to showcase, pedestal, and enthuse and people between 50 and 65, focus them and show them really the way to get that next position in this marketplace.
So, and we have the website. We can put that on screen
Yeah,
for that.
graymatter.com.
Right, exactly.
Graymatterconnection.com.
Graymatterconnection.com. So, again, with all of your experience and with starting this new project, what words of advice would you have for somebody who's out there who's watching right now? Like, don't give up? Or,
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Don't give up. Here at my age, after at least 31 years in the headhunting arena, and years before that, here I am at this point in my life, starting a new direction. I will continue to have the search firm, but I really want to augment this thing with this gray matter connection, because I think there's a an abundance of really good talent out there, and they need to be seen, and it'll be the onus upon me to really educate the employers as to this wealth of experience and whatnot, and also to enthuse those 50 to 65-year-olds that there's hope out there, and it's just a matter of targeting it and going after it.